Hello, my name is Dale Wilhite. I'm right now living in Alpine, Wyoming. If you want to find anything about me, go to MySpace, Facebook, or Twitter where I have accounts. This here is called The Negativity of Air Force Basic Training. And it's not really a condemnation of Air Force Basic Training, absolutely not. It's just some of the negative things that happens in Air Force Basic Training that if you're going to join, you need to know about. It might be some help to you. First of all, one thing I've learned when I was in Air Force basic training is that you can be discharged for just about anything. Uh, I remember one guy getting discharged one time for just talking in line. I remember one time they just didn't like the way the guy marched. They one day just told him to get out of line. We were marching, go back, and we never saw him again. And sometimes they'll just set you back if for just about the smallest infraction. These MTIs, which means military training instructors, they have a lot of discretion on who's going to graduate and who will not. Uh, and so you need to be aware of that. They can get rid of you for just about anything, and there's no real appeal for you to make in the event that you are discharged. One of the things you need to also remember, especially since we're living in a recession, that if you join the military because you can't find a job, I wouldn't let anybody know that. And I certainly wouldn't let these MTIs know that. I wouldn't let any other recruits know that. I wouldn't let no one know that. Because when I was in it was during a recession. And a lot of people were discharged because the MTIs had figured out, or they had heard that these guys had joined because they couldn't find any work. Well, these MTIs, one of their jobs is to look for people who want to join the Air Force because they want to really serve. They really want to be there, not just because they're looking for work and they couldn't find something in the civilian sector. They're more likely to get rid of you. So keep that a secret if you've joined for that purpose. I disagree with that. Just because if a person can't find a job and they want to join the military, well, maybe they'll come to like it. As once they're in, and they might make fine military personnel, and may go on to become officers. May take advantage of the college education, or the ability to further their education. You never know. But unfortunately, the MTIs, not all of them, but most of them will probably get rid of you if they think that's what you're in there for. So keep that in mind. Of course, you get your head, when you first join, you're a rainbow. That's what, like this is here, a person without a shaved head and wearing civvies. After that's what you'll be called when you first join, and then you'll become an airman basic. The only thing I didn't like about getting the head shaved, except that it took them like 13 seconds to shave all my hair off, and how funny everybody looks after they get their hair cut. I mean, this would be great for America's Funniest Videos, to show all these recruits going inside with their hair and civvies on and coming out bald-headed. I mean, you look completely different. You look absolutely silly, and everybody's standing around laughing at each other. It is funny. But anyhow, they do shave your head right around graduation time. So just because you get your head shaved when you first join, they're probably going to do it again right before you go to tech school. Some people have asked the question: do you have any privacy when you join the Air Force when you go to Air Force basic training or the military as a whole? No, you're not going to have any privacy in the basic training. You're not going to have any privacy in tech school, and you're not going to have any privacy if you're assigned to barracks. Some people, of course, can live off base. Then they can have some privacy. But other than that, there's no privacy. So it's going to be two to a room. And when you join the military, assigned to your base, and you live in a barracks, unless you're married, of course, and you eventually get housing, you're certainly not going to have any privacy in tech school. Same thing, two to a room. So if you're a person who values privacy and has to have it, the military may not be your cup of tea. And here's something I wanted to add onto that. When I graduated from basic training, got on a bus, a Greyhound, from Lackland Air Force Base to Keesler Air Force Base in Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi. I figured, I wouldn't have to be getting up at 5 a.m. anymore. You have to, in basic training, you have to get up at 5 a.m. and you got 5 minutes to fall out and be downstairs and be ready, be standing in line and formation. Oh no, I started getting up at 4 a.m. because I had morning classes, and you have to get up at 4 a.m. You have to fall out usually by then, maybe like 4:15, 4:30. I might have been 4:15 that I got up. Can't really remember, but I know it was 4 o'clock. It was around 4 a.m. And you have to fall out in the rain, the thunderstorms, the cold, whatever the season is in, and march to have breakfast and then go to your class. So keep that in mind, and don't think that because you're out of basic training or when you graduate that the 5 a.m. thing is over. You may be getting up at 4 a.m. if you're assigned morning classes. Um, as I said before, you can be set back for just about anything, and that's something to be aware of. And you can be that I meant to say you can be discharged for anything, but you can also be set back for the smallest infraction. Uh, it doesn't take much, and once you get set back, and that means let's say you're in your 5th week and you commit an infraction, you don't pass a test, and you take a lot of tests in the Air Force basic training. You'll be in class taking tests and having to read things and study things. And if you fail, you can be sent home or sent back much of the time. You can what can happen is you could be in your 5th week and commit a fraction and end up back in your 2nd week with another flight. So be aware of that. And it's very difficult to graduate after that. Once you get set back, then the other MTI is not going to be too happy getting somebody that's been set back. And that MTI is going to give you a really hard time. Another thing, let's see here. Oh, yes. When you're talking in your dorm, this is in basic training, keep in mind that the MTIs down in the office, which would be downstairs, centrally located, can hear what people are saying inside your dorm. A lot of recruits don't realize that there's somebody listening to them, especially when their MTIs are not there. They're monitoring what's going on in that dorm. I don't think they would have video cameras in there now. They didn't when I was there, but I wouldn't say it's not possible now. So be aware of that. Be aware of what you say and when you say it, especially when it's after 9, when lights are out at 9 p.m. Be very careful at what you say, because there's probably somebody going to be monitoring somewhere, listening in on what people are saying in there. And they can come over that speaker and they can jump all over you just out of nowhere. Be aware of that. And be aware that if you have a problem taking orders from women, and this is for the guys, of course, there are female MTIs, and you could be stuck with one, and yes, they will come into your dorm with you in your underwear. The men can't do that to the women, I don't think, male MTIs, but yeah, there are female MTIs, and that was started usually around, I think it was right around the Carter era. That was his so-called policy. And so if you have a problem taking orders from a woman, you may have problems in Air Force basic training. And that's basically some of the information I want to give you. And when you go off base, if you get a chance to go off base, and that's usually within about your 3rd or 4th week, and you have to earn it, go with some friends and be aware that that there are people down in San Antonio that mean to do you harm. They would like to roll you if they can get you a loan. When a few of my friends and I went down there, other recruits went down there on our first trip off the basic on about our 4th week, I think it was, in basic training. We just about got rolled. There was about 10 of us, about 4 or 5 of these guys, and fortunately, one of the people that we were with understood what was going on, realized what was about to happen, as a couple of gang members that actually turned out to be were trying to get us in to come in between a couple of buildings there in downtown San Antonio, and they were going to roll us. And these guys probably had guns, and fortunately, this guy realized what was happening, and we avoided that. Be very careful, because you are a target once you go off that base. There's all kinds of people out there, especially women. Some of them are not even supposed to be here in the United States that may approach you, and you can get yourself into a whole lot of trouble. So keep that in mind when you're in basic training, and remember that it's not exactly a great experience, but it's one that's necessary. And just be aware. This is the main message I'm trying to say here, is that you can be discharged for just about anything or set back for just about any reason. It's not that difficult to get kicked out. And if you end up not liking the military, wouldn't take much for you to get sent home. And keep that in mind. The other thing I wanted to add before I quit here, if you are going in and your recruiters told you that you're going to be given a couple of stripes because you have ROTC or something like that, be aware that the MTI is going to make you earn that while you're in basic training. If they don't think you deserve those stripes, they can take it from you and you'll still end up as an Airman Basic. There's no guarantee that, I don't care what your recruiter tells you, that you'll be Airman First Class or a Senior Airman just because your recruiter said or just because you went to ROTC. The MTIs may try to take it from you if they don't think you really deserve it. Remember that, because you can lose it. Thank you for your time.